It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not, by any stretch of the definition, a call to assassination.
Jimmy Kimmel is responding to President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump after they urged ABC to fire him over a joke he delivered days before the White House Correspondents Dinner. In a segment that aired on the April 23rd broadcast, Kimmel pretended he was hosting the dinner and roasted members of the Trump administration using old footage, including the First Lady, which he joked has a glow like an expectant widow.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
2 days after an alleged gunman, identified as 31-year-old Cole Tomas Allen, opened fire outside the dinner, Melania criticized the comedian for his bit in an X post, writing, "Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. People like Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes each evening to spread hate. A coward, Kimmel hides behind ABC because he knows the network will keep running cover to protect him. Enough is enough. It is time for ABC to take a stand. How many times will ABC's leadership enable Kimmel's atrocious behavior at the expense of our community?" Hours later, the president echoed his wife's sentiments in a Truth Social post and directly urged Kimmel to be pulled from air. Jimmy Kimmel should be immediately fired by Disney and ABC, Trump wrote in part. Meanwhile, on the Monday episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live, the late-night host defended his jokes. As he began his monologue, the crowd was heard loudly cheering and clapping for him as they chanted Jimmy. The comedian then explained the situation, sharing how there was no big reaction to the initial skit until Monday morning. He then expressed what the joke was meant to convey and reaffirmed his stance against gun violence, as he also agreed hateful rhetoric should be rejected, quipping how we should start with the President of the United States.
Obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not, by any stretch of the definition, a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it, because, by the way, I also should point out, Donald Trump is allowed to say whatever he wants to say, as are you, and as am I, as are all of us, because under the First Amendment, we have, as Americans, a right to free speech. But with that said...
Kimmel then made the comparison that if people want to believe his joke could have instigated violence, they should also look into White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's Fox News interview from Saturday evening, where she remarked that in Trump's speech, there will be shots fired.
I am sorry that you and the president and everyone in that room on Saturday went through that. I really am. Just because no one got killed doesn't mean it wasn't traumatic and scary. And we should come together and be best. We really should. But if you want us to believe that a joke I made 3 days before this dinner had any effect on anything that happened, well, then maybe someone should look into this psychic lady, too.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
You know what? You know who's going to be furious when she hears that? White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt who will be furious.
Kimmel went on to quip that the ordeal felt like deja vu for him after his show was temporarily suspended in September. Later in his monologue, the late-night host commented on the video clips that emerged from Saturday night, including RFK Jr. and his security detail rushing ahead of Cheryl Hines, as well as Trump's near-immediate focus afterwards on building his White House ballroom.
Dinner was filmed by more different iPhones from more different angles than the Torah portion of a bar mitzvah. This is video of the Secret Service moving Stephen Miller and his wife out of the room, followed by RFK Jr. getting whisked away while his wife, Cheryl Hines, is in the proverbial dust. That's right. He cut out of there like he saw a raccoon penis on the side of the road. One thing about Donald Trump, there's nothing he can't turn into a real estate opportunity. He immediately turned this into an argument in favor of his ballroom. He wrote, "This event would never have happened with the militarily top-secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House." Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm afraid that top-secret ballroom is no longer top secret, Mr. President. If it was, he'd be storing it in the shower at Mar-a-Lago.
Plus, George Clooney also weighed in on the situation in an interview with Variety at the 51st Chaplin Award Gala on Monday night, where he was being honored.
Jimmy's a comedian, and I would argue that Caroline Leavitt didn't mean shots should be fired, right? She was making a joke. Fair enough. So I look at that side and go, well, jokes are jokes, but the rhetoric, I think, is a little dangerous, and we've seen it a lot lately, you know.
The alleged gunman, Cole Tomas Allen, was arraigned on Monday, April 27th in U.S. District Court. He was charged with 3 criminal counts, including attempting to assassinate the president. He did not enter a plea during the brief hearing.